This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 587 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me once again from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, it is Mr. Glynn Lavender. How are you?
Oh, I thought you were talking to me when you said, hi, welcome to... Because I'm probably the only one listening to you, so, Welcome to launch day, my friend.
Yes.
The much-awaited brand new Tamron lens announced today. Comes out August 27, I think.
So you've been hinting about how this is a game changer of a lens, and it's going to change your life, and you're leaving your missus.
It's going to change my life.
Your dog won't talk to you anymore.
I don't have a dog. That's why it doesn't talk to me.
Why is this lens so special?
I'm not sure what I was on about.
Right.
No, here's the thing. Here's the true thing, right? For me personally, this lens has an aperture ring,
right?
A clickable aperture ring that no Tamron lens, since I've been a Tamron ambassador since 2007, so it's at 19 years.
Yeah.
Not a single lens I've used for 19 years has had an aperture ring.
Have you not used a manual focus lens in all that time?
Manual focus has got nothing to do with aperture, dude.
No, but it seems to be that only manual focus lenses have aperture rings.
Every lens I have, manual and only manual only, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, Tamron don't make manual lenses; they only make autofocus lenses.
Right. Okay.
So for 19 years, I've used every Tamron lens that's come out for Canon and now Sony, and not have a single lens with an aperture ring.
Right.
And when I saw it, it kind of blew me away because it was the last thing I was expecting.
Yeah, right.
I mean, why would you expect it? I mean, I hadn't seen any images of the lens. It just arrived, said, Glynn, here's your new lens. And I opened the box and it's like, what the hell's that? What the? And I gave it a little clickety-click. And sure enough, it clickety-clicked. And it's like, oh, my God. And when I put it on the camera, this is something I wanted out of the Fuji camera.
Right.
Which, when I bought the Fuji, I wanted back to having a manual aperture ring, an actual, in the hope that it would make me more connected to aperture and more intentional in shooting. Right. And it didn't. I almost forgot that it was there in some cases. And it's possibly because it's a bigger lens rather than these small little lenses for a small camera. On the new Tamron lens, I'm using the aperture. I'm thinking about aperture more. I'm connected to aperture more. That my first port of call for adjusting anything is aperture on the lens because it's right there, right by my hand where I'm holding the lens to shoot. Yeah. It's the most intuitive control to use to control exposure.
Yeah, right.
And that's, I guess, the same like with Sony cameras and most modern cameras. They don't have a shutter speed dial anymore.
Yeah.
A dial with the number written on the outside. Yeah. You've got a spinny wheel that you just, it's not tactile. It's not intuitive. It's just...
Yeah, I always go the wrong way first time.
I always go the wrong way first. It's like a USB key, you put it in the wrong way, then you realise you put it the other. You realise, no, actually the first way was the right way.
Yeah.
It's the same things. I always go the wrong way first time.
Yep.
But with the aperture, it's just so goddamn intuitive. But here's the thing I've just discovered today, Bruce.
Yeah.
And it's kind of blown me again a little bit because this lens is coming out for Sony and Nikon. Right?
Right. So
Nikon Z, Sony FE.
Yep.
So full frame, 12 to 22.8, because we haven't really mentioned the lens yet.
Yep.
A084 is this is official designation. Yep. But the Nikon version doesn't have the aperture ring.
What?
The expression on your face was exactly the same as the one of mine.
Why?
It's some sort of customizable control dial that can be done on a phone app or something to and I think you can turn it into an aperture.
You're saying that on the Nikon version there is a ring, but it has a different function?
Yeah, it doesn't have any assigned function to it.
Right.
Where on the Tamron, it's got this... on the
Sony mount,
it's got this... Yeah, it's got all the numbers written there, and it's click, click, click. It's got that beautiful tactile feel when you change.
And it only does that one function, right? Just aperture.
It just does that. It changes it, which is all you want it to bloody do.
Of
It's got
course.
enough bells and whistles and buttons on it to dial up anything else you want.
That boggles the mind, because the big thing about manufacturing any product is efficiencies in the production line. And the moment you create an FE mount that has an aperture ring, but a Nikon mount that has a ring that does something else, you've immediately thrown away those production efficiencies.
And funnily enough, the Nikon version's more expensive than the Sony version.
Okay.
And here's the thing, Nikon have got some fabulous retro-styled bodies.
Right.
Yeah, they're like the old, but they look very much like the old film bodies for their mirrorless SLRs.
Yeah.
How beautiful would it be to then have a lens that's got aperture on that retro body? It kind of makes sense.
You mentioned that the Nikon version of the lens is more expensive, but I guess if that what is an aperture ring on the FE version, but is a multifunctional ring that can be assigned to different tasks, I guess that adds to the complexity of the production cost.
That's just software.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I'm wrong. The Nikon isn't more expensive. The Sony's cheaper. It's
Okay.
it's all about perspective.
Right.
So I think it's like $100 difference between the two lenses.
Now, I saw you commenting on Facebook earlier this evening about Canon not allowing people to do third-party lenses. What's the story there?
Yeah. Well, the Canons are w***ers. I would still be a Canon shooter.
Yeah, this coming from the man who shot Canon for a gazillion years. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Canon don't allow third-party lens manufacturers.
When did that start?
Since they brought out the R series cameras about 5-8 years ago, whatever it was.
Okay.
So as soon as they went mirrorless, and so now they do allow a couple of lenses for their APS-C sensor bodies, but not for their full-frame bodies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know.
I would be interested to see how that decision has affected Canon's bottom line over that 8-year period or however long it's been.
They're still the biggest and sell the most, so obviously not very much.
Okay.
But from a consumer point of view, where we've always been used to having choices, I don't like being limited. Yeah, they don't have a 12 to 20 f2.8.
Right.
Gee, I'd like to. So if that was something I really wanted and I'm shooting Canon, well, can't do it.
Yeah, you're looking at Sony and Nikon and flipping a coin.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Nikon's widest zoom lens available for Nikon. So they have a 14 to 24. This is the first lens available. So if they didn't allow Tamron to make for them, they would have no lenses started at 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and people say, 12, 14, not that much. 2 mil at that end of the range it's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Different in 180 and 182 millimeter. You're not going to see a difference between 12 and 14, though. You will. You know? I noticed that bigly, might I say, because my favourite lens of all time has been my 15 to 30 Tamron lens. It's just I think almost every favourite photo I've ever taken was taken with that lens.
Right.
And so when they came out with the Sony, they only had a 16 to 30. It's okay, but I didn't love it as much, But now I put this 12 on, and it's a magic thing when you look through it, because everything is different. Everything comes alive.
It's super
and
wide.
Depth. Yeah, but depth becomes a whole tool to play with, and angles and lines and clouds become incredible features to be used in as leading lines, and all this stuff that happens by ultra wide, which is why I've always loved looking through an ultra wide lens.
Yep.
But when I went from mirrorless, from SLR to mirrorless, and lost my 15, went to 16, it was not as good. I'm now hanging, get back to Bangladesh and get the 12 mil out. into some of those locations because it just does stuff. It just does interesting things.
So
now I use
so hypothetically,
just quickly before I forget, I use ultra wide angle lenses very differently than most because I don't do astro, I don't do landscape, I don't do architecture. I'm shooting people. So at 15 mil, I'm a foot away from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right in people's grills. So at 12 mil, I'm going to be 3 inches off their nose. Sorry, you're about to say.
I was about to say, hypothetically speaking, if Tamron released no more lenses this year, have you now decided on your lens kit for your next trip?
Well, definitely the 12 to 20.
Yeah,
that's a given.
Yeah,
and I'd probably just stick with the 35 to 150.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
because honestly, you're not going to miss anything between 20 and 35.
No, not for the way I shoot.
Yeah. I mean, 20 mil, you walk a bit closer, or 35, you walk a bit further away.
I will have my Fuji with me, and I've got a 21 mil on that.
Which you didn't use the last time you went.
I did a bit, yeah. I did, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Mind you, the difference between 20 and 21 is not a groundbreaking. Yeah, so I think just the two lenses are going to kind of cut everything. Yeah, it's going to do everything I'm going to need it to do,
Yeah. And give you 12 to 150. Which is a good range.
Yes, it's not a bad range, is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're in the tight confines of the spaces I often get into, that difference between 15 and 12 is going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got to tell you, its edge-to-edge lack of distortion is astounding. There's bugger all. It's certainly not curved distortion.
No.
You do get that sort of pushback you get with anything that wide architecturally, but that's a simple, easy straighten in post. And if you shoot knowing that you're going to straighten things up, give yourself a little bit more space around it. And subjects, it's a very simple lens to work with to get that. So,
nice.
Yeah, I'm in love. I think it might just be my favourite lens of all time.
Wow.
And I haven't really used it. The only time I've really used it so far is out shooting for Tamron. I haven't really gone out and shot something I want to shoot. Because I've shot some nightscapes and cityscapes. I shot stuff that I don't shoot. I haven't shot anything that I do shoot yet. But and everything about it. So its construction's different from all other Tamron lenses. It feels different. The materials are different.
When you say the construction is different, in what way?
Well, it's just the feel. The actual materials they're using feel different than anything they've used before. Its style is different, just to the way the dials look, and it just has more of a cine lens kind of look to it than it does a film lens. It's got kind of that kind of interesting kind of style to it.
So, is the aperture ring notched like it's a gear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, click. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm led to believe, just listening to somebody's review of it on Facebook or Instagram today, on YouTube, I should say today, that might be disableable, but I haven't. They can actually turn the click off.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry, I meant the outside of the ring. Like, is the outside of the ring like toothed, like a gear? Like when you put your fingers on it, are there little notches on the outside of the ring? Like a cog, because the cine lenses that you were mentioning quite often.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, it just has that kind of visual,
but it has that vibe. Okay,
it's just more like a traditional aperture ring, basically.
Right. Okay. Because the cine lenses have that notch so that they can run it with a gear, so they can
of course to do focus and pull and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
nice.
So no, it doesn't have that. But
yeah, I've got to say, the images that you've posted, that you've shot, all look amazing.
As I put on one of the images up there, go easy on me. As a landscape photographer, I make a good portrait photographer. Or in your case, who do you think you are, Ansel Adams? More like Patch Adams, the clown. But so no, I mean, very much out of my comfort zone for objects that I'm shooting, which is often the case when I'm shooting for stuff for Tamron. But no, the nightscape stuff, there's only one photo with a person in it.
I was about to ask, obviously you get these, they're either pre-production or, very early production runs.
Yeah. And
they want you to shoot images that they can use for the marketing of that lens when it does come out. Is the whole no people, in air quotes, aspect because they don't want to have to pay people release rights for multiple markets? Or is there some other reason that they just steer away from that?
No, they're okay to have people who are paid to be in the shot, but they're not okay to have people who are just randos walking down the street.
Gotcha.
So it's very hard to shoot in the city without having somebody in the photo.
Yeah.
But they don't want anybody in the photo. Hence why you might use a slow shutter speed to either have them blurred or a really slow shutter speed so that they disappear completely.
Yep.
So some of the nighttime shots, I was doing 30-second long exposures because I'm trying to get all the people walking past to just disappear in the shot.
Yep.
And then this one guy comes up and comes and says, I'll just be a second, mate. Sorry. I said, no, do me a favour, just stand there dead still for 30 seconds for you. and he did, just the back of him. And that made me very pleased because that's my favourite shot of the whole thing.
Because it's got a person in it.
It's got a bloke in it. It's got a person in it, you know. But that's just my penchant for what I like, you know. It's that's the thing. So I'm going to share screen for a sec. Allow to share screen. Can you see my screen?
Not yet, but it's probably on its way. Yeah. No, still looking at your ugly head.
Don't want that, do we? I'll share entire. I had to hit that.
Oh, here it
too.
comes.
Here we go. So now if I go to...
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice.
So he just stood still there for 30 seconds.
He did a good job to stand still.
His head's ever so slightly got a little bit of motion to it.
Just a little softness, but yeah, he's done pretty well.
Did a damn good job, I thought. It's just some rando that got in the way of my photos on one very cold night. So I've only used a little bit in anger so far for non-things that I don't particularly enjoy shooting. But it showed me the potential of what, because I can visualize in my head what I'll be seeing overseas. And things like next March's trip to Kolkata. In some really tiny shops and laneways we're going to be going into. It's going to be a little corker. So nice. I'm already pre-visualizing the whole stack of the photos I'm going to see.
Awesome.
I'll be able to create with it, so it's the first lens I've got interested and excited about in a long time.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. I think maybe the last lens that I thought, that's pretty cool, was the 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8.
Yeah.
Because that was, again, a bit of a game changer for what you could do. But here's the thing, though. I was on D Preview's page, or DP Review, and I thought I'd look at the comments.
Of course.
Now, Bruce, are you sitting down, Bruce?
I am.
Good, because someone left a positive comment.
About the lens?
About the lens.
Right.
And BKMK is his name, as it would be. And it's bravo for going so wide, so fast, yet so light in weight. Can't wait to see the reviews of this new lens. Really like the new look too. Cheers.
Nice.
No insults, no. I wish it was the F2.
I wish it started at 11.
Couldn't it go to 400 mil? It was just hey, that looks pretty cool. Interested to see the results. Cheers. It's like there's some normal person on the internet. I'm not sure what was happening.
I'll have to go over there and leave a comment. If it was 11 to 21, I'd buy it.
Yeah, that's right. If it was 11.5 to 20.5, I want f2.7. I might have been keen. Oh dear! So that's all my news for the week, my friend. I've got nothing else but that, which is rather sad. So hopefully you've got a few things to talk about, because otherwise this is fortunately for the listeners, a fairly short episode.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
Yeah, look, the only thing photographic related for me to discuss was a portrait session I did today for work, where I used the A7 IV, which belongs to work. I didn't shoot with my A7 III. Shooting with the... Now, I can't remember if it was a Sony lens or a Tamron lens. It was a 16...
What was the focal length?
16 to 35 2.8. I think it might be a Sony lens.
That sounds like a Sony lens.
Yeah. And I was asked by our newsroom lead if I would mind going out and shooting this portrait. And I said, yeah, no problem. He asked me yesterday. And he said, a while back you said, that if we ever, wanted good portraiture done, for a story, you'd be happy to have a shot at it. He said, does that offer still stand? And I went, yeah, absolutely. And he said, well, we got this story about super guarantee and how they're enforcing that musicians now have to be paid superannuation. And off the back of that news, we've lost 3 music festivals this week that have all folded.
Oh, is that what's been happening?
Yeah, and because...
So explain for our overseas listener.
Okay, so the idea is that in Australia, any employer must contribute an employer contribution towards your superannuation, which is the money you get when you retire.
Which is retirement.
Yeah, and traditionally... musicians, have largely worked on a cash basis, and no promoter or venue operator or you name it has ever paid a cent in superannuation on behalf of any performer. And so as a result, most performers live from one gig to the next on whatever cash they've got. And so this change to the federal laws stating that now whenever a musician gets paid for a gig, whoever is paying them has to contribute superannuation on their behalf.
What a load of garbage. What a load of garbage.
Which part of it?
That the employer should have to pay.
Well, why not? They do in every other industry.
They're a sole trader. They're a sole trader. It's their own business. It's their business. Like my business, Creative Photo Workshops, I have to pay my own. I don't. If someone employs me to do a job, I factor in my percentage as part of my cost.
Yeah,
it's not. Oh, this is your fee to perform here. Plus, we've got to pay you extra. No, this is your fee, and it includes.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can either accept it or decline it if it doesn't work for you.
Well, look, I'm not the guy making the rules. I'm just telling the story.
Oh, and I'm just saying that. But to me, if this is going to destroy part of an industry, seems not a particularly well thought out.
Well, this is the plight of the musicians themselves who are going, this is going to kill our industry.
Yeah.
And so I was asked to go out to the home of a guy by the name of Andy Firth. Now, I will confess I didn't know Andy either by...
His name rings a bell.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe I'm thinking Colin Firth's brother. I don't know.
Andy Firth is regarded as Australia's best clarinet player, and he is highly, highly regarded around the world as well.
I'm big into clarinet. That must be where I've heard it.
He's shaking his head side to side. But anyway... absolutely amazing guy to talk to. Now, for those who are into music and who will appreciate this, he trained under Don Burrows and Tommy Tico.
The Don Burrows.
Yes.
Tommy Tico and his orchestra. Was that what it was called?
That is the guy.
Yes.
Two absolute jazz legends. And I will confess, and I didn't actually admit this to Andy, I'm not a massive jazz fan, but I did have a fantastic
Best not to
time.
mention that. Yeah.
But I had a great time. I was there for over an hour, and we were just talking music the whole time. He had a working 78 gramophone, and he played me some gramophone record or two, which is the first time I've ever experienced a gramophone. Like I've seen video of a gramophone, but I've never actually stood beside one that was actually playing. There's nothing electronic, it's just the needle picks up the sound, and it beats on this almost like an eardrum, which resonates air in a tube, and that tube is the speaker. And just he was very passionate about the industry, about music, obviously, and wanted to talk my ear off about this whole super guarantee thing, and I had no interest in that. I was just there to shoot photos. But one thing I found really odd, and I actually sent off an email to a guy within the ABC who's been sort of instrumental in the rollout of the A7 IV throughout the ABC. And I said, mate, I don't know what happened, because I was shooting at auto ISO, and the auto ISO range was set to full range, so 50 ISO to 208,000 or whatever it is, right? The exposure compensation was set to 0.
Yeah.
And I was shooting at like a 160th at f5, and the shots all came out 2 stops underexposed.
Oh.
And yet it shot at 5,000 ISO, so it was nowhere near the maximum ISO allowable.
Was it underexposed on the back of the screen?
No, on the back of the screen it looked fantastic, but when you actually check the histogram, you can see it's all down in the bottom quarter of the histogram. So I don't know why it did that, and of course, frustratingly, the ABC camera is set to shoot JPEG, it's not set to shoot RAW. So I've just said to him, look, lighten it up in post, you'll survive. So... It was a bit frustrating. I don't know why that happened, and I'm kind of now kicking myself and thinking, should have taken my own camera, because at least I know my own camera.
Yeah.
But I thought, it's the A7 IV, it's new, it's better, it's blah, 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 it'll be great. And
everything new is better.
Yeah, except if you're not familiar with it,
Or it's doing stupid.
Yeah. So
you could have just taken control of your settings yourself and been,
I was in manual exposure.
Auto ISO, dude, doesn't matter about manual exposure. It's auto.
Yeah, the ISO was auto.
Yeah, so you're shooting in auto.
Yeah,
you're not changing any. You're not changing a shutter setting. You're not changing it. So it's auto. It's the most program.
No, I'm not having that.
Absolutely.
No, you're wrong.
Explain why. Come on, this is good debate right now. Why? If you've just set one shutter speed and haven't changed it, and just set one aperture and haven't changed it, and left the camera to do all the exposure settings for you, that's auto.
No, all you're allowing the camera to do is set the ISO.
No, all you're letting the camera do is set your exposure.
No. I've set the exposure by setting the shutter speed.
No, you haven't. You have not. You've not set any exposure.
Oh, okay.
Whatsoever.
I see your argument.
You set a shutter speed.
Yeah.
Well, so, wait. I'm married. I'm not used to hearing these words. Can you say that again?
I can't remember what I said.
I think you said I'm right. I'm quite sure. Oh, come on, this is on record, mate. I can.
I don't think I said that.
This might be the first podcast I ever listened to. I'm sure I heard the words. You're right. So you did not set any exposure. You set camera settings, which isn't the same thing. You set time and depth.
Yeah.
But not exposure. And that's the crucial thing. I mean, anyone can set time and depth as long as you understand what those things do. But you haven't taken any control of exposure. And that's the frustrating thing, I must say, about using auto ISO. It can do unpredictable shit, like any auto stuff does.
Well, I shot the entirety of our Croatia trip on auto ISO, where I was just manually, like I was shooting in manual exposure, and I was just setting shutter speed.
No, you weren't shooting in manual exposure.
Okay, shooting in manual.
Shooting in manual.
And I was setting the shutter speed according to the amount of freezing or motion that I wanted in the shot.
You're
I
making
was
all
setting
the creative choices.
my aperture according to how much depth of field or how little depth of field I wanted. And then
Absolutely,
letting
and
the
you were
camera...
shooting in auto for the rest of it.
And then I was also using exposure compensation with that. So if I was shooting in a darkened alley at night, I was setting, -1 EV on the exposure compensation. Or if it was a super bright day and I'm out on the water, I'd probably set it at half or maybe one stop over. But yeah, I let the camera do the ISO setting the whole time. And
which is your exposure.
And all of my images were correctly exposed. So I don't know what went wrong today with the A7 IV.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But I think it's a crucial thing to know that when you're making creative settings choices, it doesn't mean you're shooting in manual. So your camera's on M, and this is not for you. This is for anyone else who's thinking about, well, how do I shoot? Just because it's on M. If you're not controlling all three aspects, think of it like a three-way weighing scale. If you're only controlling two of the three axes, you're shooting an auto. Yeah, auto with some parameters that you've defined, which is the same as if you set the parameters for auto ISO to only shoot between 100 and 800 ISO. As an example, you set another parameter, but there's still a range of auto control, and that's why you can get results that can be varied. Because cameras, anything on auto is going to make some stupid mistakes. Because the cameras are dumb.
Like I said, I did not have that issue in Croatia on my A7 III.
Yeah.
So whether there is some other feature of the A7 IV that I'm just not familiar with, because that's the first time. That's the first time I've gone out and shot in anger with that camera. So there's probably a.
So let me ask you another question though. The image of the back of the camera, were you reviewing the photos or looking at the live view?
No, I reviewed the photos. You reviewed the photos, and on the camera, the photos look good. The photos look great.
Because that's all. Because if you're using the live view, if you're shooting with the live view of the screen, you can have a simulated exposure showing, which isn't necessarily always 100% accurate. Right. But if you're actually reviewing the photos and the photos look good, that's bizarre.
So when I got back to work and I showed Blake the photos, and I said, "Geez, they look a bit dark." And as he was flicking through, this is after he'd copied them onto his computer and he'd got them on the on the 24-inch monitor. And he's gone, they do a bit. And so then I've pulled the camera out of the bag and I've switched it back on and I've gone to play back the images. And then I've, toggled up on the rotary dial to bring up the histogram. And it was then that I could see all the histograms were just, mashed down in the bottom quarter of the histogram. And I've gone, that's weird. And, and I talked it through with Blake, who's not a photographer, and I said, this is what it's done, but I don't understand why it's done it. And he said, is the screen on the camera turned up super bright? Giving you a false sense of...
Absolutely.
And so that was the next thing I checked. I went in and I was like, no, monitor brightness is set at 0, and it can go from -2 to +2. So I don't know what the story was there. I will have to investigate further because
Please do let us know. Let's know for next episode because that's a really curious.
I'm wondering if the ISO range setting that I saw in the menu was maybe not the auto ISO range, and it was just are you shooting in the kind of the native range, or are you shooting in the extended range of the cameras?
Oh, but the native range still goes up to at least 12,800 or...
No. I think you'll find it's one stop different at either end. So it's like 100 to 102,000 instead of 50 to 208,000.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I saw. Maybe it was the extended range or, native range toggle that I was looking at, and I wasn't actually looking at the auto ISO range.
You weren't actually setting auto ISO, and it was
no. What I'm saying is that in the Sony menu there is a setting that it's usually labelled auto ISO range, and it allows you to set a minimum and a maximum.
I know this.
For the auto ISO setting. So even though the camera can shoot to 208, you might say, I don't want you to shoot it any higher than 200
12,800.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
but
that.
But if you're saying, but it doesn't explain why the image on the back of the camera looks fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that doesn't explain that at all. Yeah,
No.
There could be a fault. That's a possibility because it doesn't. There's not a lot. Could you ever imagine a reason why you'd want to have that as a setting, where your review shots look fine on screen, but the actual shots are 2 stops underexposed as a mode that you'd want to choose?
No,
use. I can't think of a logical reason why someone would want to do that. So that's very well. That's a great thing you got out to shoot. Were the photos any good though?
Oh yeah, I got some lovely portraits of him.
Yeah.
So they'll
Did you get portraits of him using the 78? Using the old player?
I not with his hands on it, but standing beside it. Yes.
He's going to lean his ear down, hand over his ear, trying to hear the music of it because it's pretty quiet. Those things. Yeah.
No, it's actually quite loud.
I know they are. They are in a small room. They're pretty decent.
And he actually had a rectangle of cardboard stuffed in the. We'll call it the speaker tube.
The cone,
to dampen it because it's too loud without it.
No volume control.
So that's his volume
just
control.
An old T-shirt down there. That'll do. Yeah.
But that was it was a really interesting day. Talking to him. Well, an hour anyway, not a day, but really interesting. Chatting music and. Talking about modern...
Just to bring it back to the original issue, what was his thoughts about the superannuation? Did he believe that the venue should be paying?
He's very much in the camp of this is going to destroy the industry.
I understand that, but does he believe the venue shouldn't have to pay him superannuation?
I didn't.
Or does he believe they should?
I didn't ask.
To me, that would be as in, if you're a musician, as in, like me and my job, I quote for a job. I don't expect them to pay me that and then pay me extra for my retirement fund. It's I factor into my quote my cost of living or cost of doing business, and if that includes my superannuation, well, I've factored that in.
Okay, so another scenario. He was talking about he's putting on a show where. He's got to employ, 12 or 13 other musicians to do a big band show. And now suddenly he's expected to pay the superannuation for these 12
But that's what I'm saying. It's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong. You say, well, this is the job. This is how much it pays. Yeah. You can either accept it or not. And if you accept it, you accept the fact that you've got to pay your own superannuation out of that fee. Because that's the price of the job. And it's your choice. You can't say, oh, I took the job, I took the money, but I want more. No, that's the job. It's like it's like even if you're going out for a job here and they say, okay, the salary is 100,000 plus 16% superannuation, it's still they quote the total package. Yeah, this is your package is $116,000. But 16,000 of that is a mandatory contribution, and it should be the same. Oh, well, as a musician, we're employing you for 116,000, but you've got to take care of all your costs out of that money. That includes your insurances, it includes your superannuations, you're paying any other guitar techs or whatever it may be. Yeah, they're your expenses. Yeah. And if I was putting together a big band, it'd be the same thing. Well, I'm paying everyone $1,000 each, and you got to take your costs out of that. Yeah.
He was saying to me that the Australian music industry is worth about $10.5 billion a year, and yet only 5% of musicians can actually make a sustainable living out of music.
Yeah. So it's like actors. Okay. So I saw several jazz festivals close business this week, and I didn't know why, and now I know why. Yeah. But I've also been seeing that a lot of the live stage productions, like the major musicals, and stuff, they're all closing down as well. Right. But that's actually nothing to do with that superannuation. That's just simply people aren't spending money because cost of living crisis. Yeah. So the entire entertainment industry on both sides is obviously and adding another level of cost like this is to a festival. What's the first thing they're going to do is shut down. It's it doesn't seem to be very well thought out policy whoever came up with it, but
Come
if
on,
it was well thought
Glenn.
out, if it was,
Politicians
well thought
not
out
thinking
policy,
about policy.
There wouldn't be government.
Come
They wouldn't be in
on.
government. If they had a clue what they were doing. Common sense, eh? Oh, no one's ever heard of it. All right, mate. Well, this has been lovely chatting with you.
Yeah, you too.
It's
Yeah, it is it.
We haven't got a lot to just the thing. So, folks, go check out the new 12 to 20 if you're of a mind for something wide.
Yeah.
As always, send in your questions like you do every week.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll answer it in 6 months.
Exactly. We're still working through 2004's questions.
Yeah, that's right. All right, mate, you look after yourself.
Do you think 4 megapixels going to be enough, Bruce? The question for this week. Yeah. And will I ever need more than a 128 megabyte memory card?
Yeah. All right, mate, look after yourself.
All right.
Talk
You
soon.
too. Take care, guys. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Don't know why I'm waving because it's not a video podcast.
That's right. I'm going to leave that in.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.